watch the world from the place beneath the willow, the willow. So many years, too many tears on your pillow, on your pillow.
Alright, the day has arrived. It is time to change the closet. We are almost in winter, and I think it's fair to say that all the summer clothes should be put away. Of course, in the climate that we live, in the same day you go through a really cold winter day, and if the sun is outside you feel like you are back in summer again. Not that hot, but you still need light clothes. But all the shorts and all of this stuff, I'm going to put it away because I want to make a space for thicker clothes, especially for working outside. Let's start the work. I'm going to go to the workshop and organize the stuff there. From this entire cabinet, this is the section that I have for my handbags, shoes and extra clothes. Not much, because most of it is filled with like these jackets that we got when we were in Norway, that we just use when it's like raining a lot and we have to work Aspen. This year, on top of all the personal losses that we had to go through, we also have been going through some physical and economical losses. One of them was my laptop, the one that I used to work. After London, it got broken and I couldn't use it anymore. That's why I haven't been able to answer that many emails, and I still have so many more to do, because for almost a month and a half I didn't have any laptop, so I was quite offline. It was a blessing in a way, because I didn't have the tool to work. It was quite a relief, to be honest, to be offline more often and not to have access to my work computer. But because I cannot live forever without working, otherwise who is going to pay the bills, I had to buy a new laptop, and now that I have it, I have been catching up with a lot of work, and I'm happy that I was able to get a new one. This is what I have been waiting for to have, and I think I'm going to get this to run. These two boxes are mainly toiletry, underwear, bath and self-care stuff. These two are for exercise. In summer is a mix of exercise and bikinis. Then here I have pants that I don't use as often because they are more like to dress well. And this one is t-shirts, tank tops, etc. I have quite a lot of variety. They tend to get ruined and I need to change them more often, but I struggle to let them go because I always find them useful for working and stuff, so that's why it's kind of full. On this side I have the stuff that I use more often because it is in front of the closet, and I have my pajamas, wool sweaters, but also things like shirts. I also keep here my camera, which I'm using right now. On this box, I have clothes that I usually wear when I go to a city and when I want to dress up better. But I also keep here, for example, these thick sweaters. And then in this other box, I usually keep things that I will use while living here for working and stuff, but that I don't use as often. And things like scarves, loungewear, etc. And now the most difficult part starts, basically because I want to have everything accessible, but I don't have the space to have everything accessible at the first time that I open the closet. So I will have to choose the stuff that I believe that I will be using more often, and the other ones keep it on the back part of the closet. I also have a few stuff in this closet, but very few, just a couple of dresses and shirts like this one. Basically, the problem with keeping stuff in these boxes is that I have to be ironing clothes a lot, and sometimes you don't feel like ironing your clothes every single day, and the clothes that I say that I believe that I will be used more often, I will just rather iron them once a week and then put them in this closet. But the rest of them I unfortunately have to keep it in the boxes and then iron each time that I want to wear them, which is not that bad, but I'm looking forward living in the house and having like a proper closet where I can hang my clothes and iron them once. I might keep this sweater accessible. This one I made it myself 2 years ago, and because I usually didn't have anyone that covered my neck, I made this one, and it is a bit cropped. And the other day Pepe told me that maybe it would be ideal to use something to cover my neck because I usually get a lot of pain in my upper neck when I work in my computer. The main reason is because we leave doors and windows open and the air stream, it's pretty cold, and maybe that's not helping with that. I might start using this while editing and working in my computer. And I was testing it out because it's wool, and this wool, it's a bit more itchy than a merino wool, but it feels good with this weather. I think I'm going to leave it accessible in the closet. Another thing that I'm going to really take care of moving forward is sleep at night. I have had this latex pillow for the past 7 or 8 years. My upper neck and back is completely destroyed. I finally found someone that did acupuncture. This was the first person in my life that has actually been able to help relieve the stiffness and the pain in my neck and in my back. But after a few days sleeping with my pillow, I start getting stiffness again in the neck. To be honest, I'm kind of traumatized with the pillows because I don't know what to buy, and maybe you try in one place and it doesn't work then at night. So I have tried a few cheap options, but none of them work. And after much consideration, I wanted to get this year some flannel sheets because now it's getting cold. The normal cotton sheets feel like wet and humid. If you live in a humid environment, you know what I mean. After searching for that, I was committed to find a pillow that actually works. I cannot recommend this one yet because I haven't tried. I have read really good reviews about this brand, and for what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like the typical feather pillow because you put the weight of your head and it recovers quickly. It's not the typical one that you put your head and then it gets stuck on it and then you're almost touching the bed. I hope it really works because I'm not sure if it doesn't work, if I'm able to return it or not. I will just put a few covers on it, but hopefully it works because I have realized after all this time, sleep is super important. It doesn't matter how well you eat, how much you exercise and how many times you meditate, that if at night you are not able to rest, then you get sick and you will eventually not find yourself properly working during the day. I have struggled a lot with sleep for many years. I will say for almost 20 years. First because of a lot of trauma and nightmares that it didn't allow me to sleep well, and then part of those struggles has been the pillow situation and not being fully comfortable. And another thing that we also ordered is a duvet because the one that I have is one that I bought when I was in university, and this was the year that I met Pepe, and it was probably 17 years ago. It has done its work and we will still use it. We will probably put it in the camper van, but the duvet that we have is much smaller than our bed, and usually one of us is always cold because it's usually Pepe, because I pull the duvet towards my side and then he's like not protected by the duvet. So I wanted to wait actually to move to the house to buy this because I know that in the cabin with the humidity the bed is getting destroyed. Basically, I just realized that a few days ago that I was struggling sleeping, and I decided to take my pillow and told Pepe, look, this is super tall, it's super stiff, I'm going to just cut part of the pillow to make it lower. And when I opened the pillow cover, I realized that the exterior layer of the latex was like powder or something like that, and it completely makes sense because that part of the bed is exposed to the humidity during the entire year, and then during summer to a lot of heat, even if it's inside, because the sun goes through all the materials. And in the back of the cabin we have this plastic, so the sun still gets in, but I think that it got ruined because of the humidity. But I don't know, I never saw a latex material it looked like it was decomposing, basically. So I wanted to wait to buy this because the more time that this is in the cabin, the more chances to get ruined. But hopefully this is the last winter. I'm doing everything I can, and Pepe as well, to make that happen. But just because we always joke that we are living in a camping, basically, and it's not just a joke, it's part true. Even if we are used to it, there is no necessity to make your life more miserable just because you have to develop this strength, and doesn't matter how uncomfortable we are, we can do it. And this is something that is okay. At least we are going to sleep 8 hours properly with as much as we can the comfort of a home, even if it's not like a proper home, and it wasn't never built like a proper home because it was always going to be a temporary house for us. It took us longer than expected to actually have the other house finished, but we are almost there. We will, at this point, I think we will be living, once that the house is finished, it will have been probably almost 5 years in the cabin, but luckily this makes our experience better, more cozy, and at least we don't get sick during winter because it's been super cold lately. Usually we use duvet pretty much all year round, not the 2 layers, the thick one and the thin one, but the thin one, yes. Maybe we are lucky and this one has 2 layers. In the worst scenario, we will just use the thin duvet that we are currently using, which is smaller, but it works for the summer. Now the problem is winter, and hopefully with this, Pepe is now not cold anymore. I have also read a lot of good reviews about this duvet. It's quite the investment, to be honest, but after seeing that the one that we currently have, I have had it for 17 years, I decided to invest in a good one back when I was in university, and it definitely paid off. And if you divide the price that this cost for the next 15-17 years, maybe you spend 20 euros per year, and I think that's something that we can all afford. So I would rather invest in something that is a good quality product than something that is, I will first save, then once that I have the money will buy it. But over the years I have realized that cheap things ended up costing more because you buy a cheap product once, it breaks down and it doesn't do the job, and then you will have to buy another one. So at the end you ended up spending more money than if you bought a good quality one in the first place. Hopefully this lives up to the expectation of what I read online and of what we are looking for. So this is pretty much my birthday Christmas gift for the family. Qué bruto, tío.
You wanted to order two, one this one and the softer.
No, originally I saw the reviews for the
This is too
medium.
soft. This is going back.
I think it's good then.
A ver. Qué calor. the flannel sheets have arrived, and we have been testing the new duvet and my new pillow after almost a week, and I really love it. Pepe as well really like the duvet. It's incredible because it was supposed to be less weight, so in comparison to the old one that we had, but it is much more lighter and it is much more warmer. I guess that it is because of the advanced technology that these things have accomplished in the last 15 years, but it is really good and I'm really comfortable with my pillow as well. I have been sleeping better. I only got flannel sheets for the cover of the duvet and for the pillows. And I forgot that these satin sheets from Brooklinen are extremely comfortable during winter. I love them during summer, but it happens that during winter they feel also super warmer, and it's been a gift, so I'm really thankful for this. I will probably be using this all winter. I might get a second pair because we only have one for winter. So what I'm going to do is to change the duvet cover, and this is something that I really like light colors, but what happens during this time of the year is that because Lolita learned how to climb the ladder, she usually comes with dirty paws and sometimes wet, and she stains all the duvet cover that it's white, and if it's darker colors they get stained, but you don't see it as obvious. And for this time of the year I usually change the duvet cover for a darker color just to avoid seeing it dirty all the time. This is the one that I'm using to sleep, and the cover that I have is super big. That's why I got these ones much shorter. The problem now is that Pepe's pillow is longer, but I think he will continue using the white linen one. And I'm going to switch this one for the pillow that I use usually when I sit here to read or to do some knitting. I might have gotten the one that is medium harder rather than the medium softer side, but I have been much better. My upper neck is way better. Before I usually woke up every single day with a lot of pain and stiffness, and it was hard to relieve. Now even when I work in the computer and my upper neck gets stiff, at night I'm able to release that stiffness. That's important, and I think it has been a success. And even though it was quite pricey and it was quite the risk because I didn't know that, but the moment that I opened the package I could then return it.
Food can be our medicine. It nourishes not only our bodies, but our souls. And I wanted my cookbook to be a representation of that. Beautifully created dishes made with nutritive and nourishing vegetables, fruits and whole foods. Since I'm allergic to gluten and intolerant to dairy, all my recipes are naturally gluten-free and dairy-free. And all of this has been possible thanks to Squarespace, which allowed me to launch my first website, an online store, back in 2014, and has allowed me to launch my second one as well. Squarespace is an amazing platform for building your brand and growing your business online. They help you to stand out with a beautiful website. Their service offers many different features, such as selling physical and digital goods, blogging tools, mailing lists, member areas, or the ability to link any social media platform to your webpage. If you're interested in effortlessly creating your own blog or website, go to squarespace.com/Eugenia Diaz for a free trial and a 10% off your first order of a website or domain. I will leave all the links in the description box. I look forward to seeing you sharing your unique talents with the rest of the world, so we can support one another and grow as a community.
They received a really exciting package. The new 2025 planners have arrived. Some of you might know this year has been quite a difficult year for me at a personal level, professional, emotional, and I will go to even say spiritual. But we cannot forget that we have the power to write and rewrite our own stories as many times as we would like to, and the past is already on the past. There is nothing else that we can do with it rather than learn from the mistakes and the challenges that we made. And now that we are almost at the end of the year and with a new year ahead, I wanted to encourage you to visualize what you would like to experience more in the new year. I have always believed in the power of manifestation. It is something that unconsciously I did as a kid, and as I grew older I continue doing because I knew the power that it had, the power that it has when we see ourselves with a different perspective, and instead of having this negative narrative of ourselves and of our story based on what we are experiencing in the present moment, if we change that perspective and we focus our attention and visualize how we would like to see ourselves and how we would like to experience our life, I kind of stop doing that. I kind of stop visualizing because I thought that maybe I kind of mastered it and I didn't have to do it anymore. But I realized that when things get challenging, it's really easy to focus on the problems. But when you focus on the problems and on the challenges, I will go to even say that more problems and challenges arise. But when you just see them without analyzing them too much and just focusing on finding solutions, even your reality switch. Now you are focusing your attention in more positive things, be more grateful, and that's something that I for sure have already started since I was in the hospital. It is a commitment to myself because if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it for me. I ordered everything from a store called Entropia. I have been buying from them for the past 2 years. I usually got my stuff from a brand called Iconic. This year I only got from them this monthly planner, the annual planner that is organized per days and weeks. It is from a brand that I never tried before called High Tide, I think. but I really like the format. It's really small, believe it or not, because you see me here through videos. I'm a quite analogic person. Of course I know the benefits that technology has, but I'm someone that likes to write my thoughts, my stuff, and something that I didn't do before, it was to write those thoughts. But the downside to that is that sometimes my mind is full of thoughts and noise, and I realized that if I want to have a more quiet mind, it will be important to write some of those ideas, so I don't have to be thinking them all over again all the time. With this size I can easily put this in my bag if I go somewhere and I want to write something.